Hey everybody, welcome. Want to do a breaking news live stream right now. There's something that you may not be privy to that you should be, and I have a lot of mixed emotions actually right now. It's kind of exciting, kind of worrying, kind of scary, kind of a lot of things. So, what is the deal? There's a trailer that has just come out for a film called Age of Disclosure. I'm going to play a bit of it right now, just the most relevant news that you need to know. And there's been a lot on this topic the last couple of weeks and days even. And so it may be overwhelming to some, but please hear this. Jay Stratton, what you're about to hear him say, this man, if you don't know, is a lifelong defense civil servant, intelligence agency, Defense Department. He literally was in charge of the UAP task force. This was the organization for several years that operated as your official United States taxpayer-funded government organization to find out what the heck is going on with this situation. Let me just play this section and I'll tell you why I'm so animated about it.
We learned that the U.S. government was involved in a long-running secret war with other nations to collect and reverse engineer vehicles not made by humans.
I have seen with my own eyes non-human craft and non-human beings.
So look at that thing. It's rotating. There's a whole fleet of them.
The first country that cracks the code on this technology will be the leader for years to come.
China has established its own version of a UAP task force.
You think for a second that they wouldn't consider using it to achieve their ends of domination?
This is similar to the Manhattan Project. This is the atomic weapon on steroids.
Play that again and again and again. All this time, people are saying, well, this is great and all, but where's the first-hand witnesses? Where's the guy that says, I saw this myself? You just heard it. Non-human. Lou Elizondo said that for, I think, the first time publicly, that there is a it's international arms race underway right now and has been ongoing for a long time because of the recovery and attempted exploitation of craft things, technologies that are not human, not American, which they would know, not Chinese, not Russian, not anything else, not ours. Jay Stratton even says, I have with my own eyes seen non-human crafts and non-human beings, friends. And then he goes on to say, because this is such an urgent situation, and you heard Mike Rounds in there as well, the senator who's from the beginning has been trying to spearhead this legally legislation with Chuck Schumer and others, that this is China and Russia would use it in a second if they could figure it out. And then Jay ends up saying this is bigger than the Manhattan Project. What did he say? 100 times? 1,000,000 times? You know what the Manhattan Project was, right? It pushed the destructive power of the atom into our world. and made the biggest, most destructive bomb we ever thought of obsolete by a lot. That's what this race is about. So you have many things going on here at once. I don't think you can no longer, none of us, you Christians especially with me, us Christians, can no longer write this off as some illusion or spiritual deception, okay? I'm not saying that there's not an element of deception possibly involved. I'm not saying that at all, but it's not at the level where it's all in your mind or it's all spiritual things. It's not. They're physical things and physical beings. We're going to have to deal with that. Not human beings, okay? Yes, we're going to have to deal with that. We're going to have to go from square one, a lot of us, aren't we? For you who are Christians, or maybe you're new to the church and this is all just blowing your mind, please, I'm trying to give a place there. You can see at the bottom of the screen, uapcouncil.com. This is the vision of this is to have church leaders get together and talk through this, because when this hits the fan, and it is, apparently it's hitting it as we speak, many souls are going to be affected in a very negative way. We've been talking about this for almost 2 years on the Unsealed podcast, and this is the reason why. It's not only because, it's a fascinating subject, and, oh, wow, I'm a nerd out for UFOs, or I wonder what's behind this mystery. It's a great mystery. All of that is true, but there's a larger, potentially horrendously horrible result. And I'm sure it's multifaceted reasons why, but the fact remains that human beings are using non-human stuff to create weapons, or trying their best to create the most super weapon that's ever been. Unfortunately, this is par for the course. This is what humans do. We kill. We're selfish. We're greedy. This is what the Bible tells us. This is what God tells us. It's true. So this is what we're going to be dealing with, regardless of what else this technology could bring. The weaponization is their first thought. Now, again, is it multifaceted? Could it be? Well, we better hurry up and figure this out, because whoever these guys are that are already here, this is not a spaceship coming in from 1,000 light years away. This is not something that's going to emerge on our, to our solar system, and it's not like a movie. They're already here for a long time. And so we're going to have to deal with that. And potentially, and I thought, right from the get-go, when you could pick up these little shreds and threads over when you do, when you're really looking into this in a fair way, in a fair-minded way, without bias, or, doing your best not to have bias on these things. I've been increasingly concerned that this thought is right, which is that not only is this a weird, terrible, mind-blowing situation that will potentially cost souls, because just leaving the faith, like, they never told me about this church or whatever. But this weapon that we are trying to make and beat the other countries at making, somebody's going to succeed. Potentially. Or whoever these other intelligences are going to let somebody have this incredible weapon that you can't deal with and can't stop. Well, the Bible describes this. And many of you who have followed along over the years, you know that the next event that we are looking for as a Christian prophecy student, is the Iranian invasion of the Middle East with a weapon that is described in Revelation chapter 6 and in Daniel chapter 8 as so massive and severe that no one can fight against them. We have assumed, I guess, all along, and many of us have, that this is a nuclear weapon from Iran. And over these past 2 years or so, I believe that less and less. It's got to be something more. It's described in a way that it's shocking and unbeatable. And what if this is that? And what if it is China, for example, that wins this race and gives it to Iran? What if it's Russia? What if this whole thing comes crumbling down and all the ripples that no one intended or no one wants to deal with, the collapse of governments, the collapse of society? Don't tell me people won't leave religion in droves. They will. All religions. Okay. Yes, some might return to God or for the first time to maybe trust in something that is above these other intelligences and all that stuff. But I think you're going to see a lot of defection first. Or again, all across the board, not just Christian churches, Islam, Judaism, Hinduism, you name it, because it's going to force you to question everything in your world. Especially if it's not just some type of theory. It's not a theory. It's not a story. It's not a myth. It's not a meme. But it's actual things that can actually hurt people, that can actually destroy. Just go to this trailer. The link is in the description. Go to that trailer. I'm not looking to cash in off of this or say Wings of the Eagle told you. I'm just saying this is important. So please, please, please. Jay Stratton is a serious person. He's a servant. He is a patriot. He does not make things up. This is not a theory anymore. Whatever the UFOs and whatever the creatures, beings are that are in them or with them or controlling them are real. And we're going to have to deal with it. And just these lazy excuses or answers or thinking we know, you are in trouble. I don't care what side of it you come down on. I don't care what you think of them. You are in big, big trouble if you think you know what's happening. Because we don't. Okay, so we have to deal with this. And this arms race that is ongoing. No big deal or world changing? World changing. Yes. I think we have an opportunity to be preemptive. Those of us who care, those of us who are trying our best to understand in a forthright way, in an unbiased way, in a human way, to help others, to be there when things fall down. That's what I feel. And things are going to fall. I guarantee it. And like we've said right from the beginning, I don't want to belabor this anymore. This is the breaking news. Look at Jay Stratton. Listen to what he says. And this movie isn't even going to come out, I guess, for 2 more months. So whatever. It doesn't even need to come out. That happened. It's not supposition. It's not somebody up to debunk. Okay, so please stop debunking. You look like a fool. It's a real thing. and be controlled by real things. Do yourself a favor and watch that trailer, especially that segment, and what it is going to, what it means right this second, and what it's going to mean, and what it really is going to mean if that arms race is decided. Ugh. I'm kind of emotional right now. Take this serious. Because just like think of the conflict you want, the Cold War, World War II, Cuban Missile Crisis, those missiles don't care what you believe. Those nukes and those weapons and those evil warmongers don't care what your faith is. They don't care what you think about aliens, UFOs, God, or Jesus. You're going to die just the same. And you're going to suffer just the same. And your families are going to suffer. And the innocents around you are going to suffer. And yes, those of us who believe in the Lord Jesus, that no matter, even if we die, we're going to live with him forever. Okay, well, what about the ones who are lost? Anyway, all that's going through my brain. Maybe yours too. I was thinking about not addressing any comments, but let's see here. Bondservant says we've seen an uptick in orb sightings, spheres, lights. I guess I don't. Maybe Bondservant. I don't know if that's true. I mean, people are looking now, for sure. It seems like it. And what is the deal with that? Okay, you've got a New Jersey mayor tonight saying he saw an orb, a light, transform into a quote-unquote drone before his eyes. Other people have seen beings come out of these spherical things. So, like, there's a whole bunch of stuff we don't understand, but yet they're real. Not till March, and then even I don't know. It's premiering at a festival in Texas. South by Southwest it's called. But you know how these things go. They need a distribution deal. So I don't know when wider than that it would happen. I don't know. Agus. Hello, Agus on Facebook. I don't know what that means, but that looks like spam. Leaked video. Okay, whatever. C Mangus 77 Nephilim question mark. What about him? What about him? Is that what Jay Stratton saw? Is that what you're asking? Again, we can't assume anything. Nephilim are in the Bible. Nephilim are in Genesis chapter 6. They are the result of sexual reproduction between angels and human women. They became in what that verse calls the great or tyrannical men of olden times, those who are well known. You're talking about your Greek Roman gods, basically, Egyptian gods. The demigods, right? All those pantheons probably were Nephilim. I mean, that's where the stories came from. That's maybe they were real people. Doesn't mean they're back, though. Doesn't mean that ever happened again. That's what I want to stress to you. Doesn't mean it ever made it out of the Old Testament, okay? They've been here for a long time. Could they be pre-flood beings? Nope. Well, again, you got to be careful. Don't assume anything. I mean, God says he wiped everything out in the flood. So But I think the story begins there. And what I am working on, and God help me, I've got to write this up in a proper way and present it in some kind of proper way, even if it's a small bit. The missing aspect, I think, of that whole, a lot of us Christians with Michael Heiser and all those who are interested in this UFO topic are thinking, well, it must be Genesis 6 related. I don't disagree. But that's only the beginning of the story. The fact is that if you look at Enoch, the first book of Enoch, the one that's probably inspired, yes, you see the details of what happened and the angels and Enoch talking in heaven to them and all that stuff. But the fact is they had children, and these angels at least taught other people, regular people, not their children necessarily, right? But humans, secrets. And they taught them secrets to a lot of things. The earth itself, the heavenly bodies, technology, weapons of war. Think about that. That's where I'm at. Okay? Not the fallen angels. They taught the information, yes. But to who? Regular humans. And you would teach your children, your children, your children. And the knowledge can pass even if you die. And then at some point, maybe somebody figured something out. And like you have right after the flood, the Tower of Babylon, or Babel, right? And what they tried to do there. Again, who were they? The Nephilim tried to build the Tower of Babel? No. Men who were wicked. People who apparently knew something about reaching God or reaching heaven, because that's what the tower was for. Anyway, that's where I would focus if I were you. Oh, y'all. It's a big deal. It's a really big deal. Again, just to repeat, a serious representative of the United States government whose job was to investigate UFOs. Even look, Lou Elizondo's awesome. Okay, he did this on the team, but the team leader was Jay Stratton. He was appointed by the Pentagon to be your official person to find out about this stuff. And he says he saw not just a UFO. Boy, I wonder what that is. Wonder what country that came from. He terms it non-human craft. So somebody flew around or traveled in. And non-human beings. He didn't say alive or not. He doesn't say how many beings or any of that. Maybe that'll come out in the movie. I don't know. But none of that really matters. The point is, a serious person who is not lying to you, not making it up, not role-playing, not pushing disinformation from another country. Your guy, okay? This guy is one of us. And he's held back on this for years. Now that you see the big picture, it's clear that he has held back on this for years. If you watch Skinwalker Ranch, you know Travis Taylor, right? The doctor. He always called Jay Stratton my boss on the UAP task force. Anyway, take it seriously. And it's not just that sentence, that revelation of a firsthand witness, but what it means and what they uncovered. Not, oh, wow, cool. We found some stuff while I was in office, during my tenure in 2012 or something, we found this thing. He's saying it's multi-decade. And many nations are doing it. And we all know. And we've been keeping it from everybody because it's too big to tell. Society might break down. That's a legitimate possibility. When this info gets out and permeates the culture, society can break down. That's how serious it is. All the stuff you ever heard about civil war and unrest and political this and that, this is going to be worse. Because it cuts to the very core of your belief system. Not just a guy you oppose in the White House or a system you want to change or a bad policy or even a genocide that you're trying to stop or, stop the Jews from being killed or whatever. These are all individual things, but if everything at once begins to be questioned and all of a sudden, wait a minute, you've lied to me for an entire grandparents' generations and my parents and mine and my children. There's a whole secret government going on. And by the way, you can't even protect me because all you're trying to do is exploit these weapons that are superior to what we have. These, whatever they are, they're here. You haven't protected us from them. Oh my God, what if this abduction thing is true? And what if you allowed it? What if you made a deal? What if you said it was okay to abduct my citizens? Some kind of deal with the devil. You don't tell me that's not going to break down society? You sure as hell will. It sure as hell will. And if that ends up being the case, I got to get off the air here. I'm going to get in trouble. All right, guys. Sorry if I didn't address your question or concern. Be back next time. Please share this video if you can, especially if you're not in the UFO community, if you're in a Christian community that doesn't talk about this or is afraid or makes fun of you. Look, I haven't seen a non-human being, I don't think. Certainly not what Jay is talking about, I wouldn't imagine. Have I seen a non-human craft with my own eyes? I think I have. I mean, I know we didn't make it. So, buckle up. Prepare for a lot. And get ready to help people because a lot are going to need help. All right, friends. We'll be back maybe even tomorrow. Who knows? But this has been the breaking news for tonight. Please watch this. Please absorb it. Please share this. Support this channel if you can. You can subscribe here and on Patreon. That would be helpful because I'm just a guy trying to make ends meet here, doing what I think is important. So do that if you can. But again, if you're a Christian and especially if you're a leader in a church, let's talk about this stuff offline. Go to uapcouncil.com till whenever. See you next time.